Good morning, Derek. Sir D. Good morning. Good morning, dear friend. Tiny terrorist. Is there such a thing as a tiny one? Is there such a thing? Terrorist. Interesting. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Exception. I hope you're having an exceptional day. Good morning, nerds. Nerd of the famous smile. Good morning, everybody. Derek Anderson, I did have a nice weekend. Thank you for saying good morning, HB. I did have a nice weekend, very relaxing. Spent some time over at the garden. Yeah, a little bit more time than usual now that I have my own raised box. They've given me a box this year to do my own thing in. Plus, I was just hanging out talking. You're getting moisture there. Rained here Friday night, and it looked like it was going to rain for Saturday, so I'm not exactly sure what happened, but I didn't hear from the captain this weekend. So unfortunately, I didn't get out on the river to do any fishing this weekend. He may have gone out. I haven't talked to him. He may have had a boatload of people that he was taking out. I'm really not sure. I'm going to talk to him today, find out what happened Saturday. But Saturday I was freed up to go. There's a community garden about 2 miles from my house. So I shoot over there and spend some time playing in the dirt. I like dirt under my fingernails compared to oil and grease. I can't stand oil and grease under my fingernails. It's weird. I have an aversion to oil and grease. Well, cooking oil is okay. But engine oil, anything engine-y, not down with it. Good morning, everybody. Take a couple of minutes and say hello to each other. And then we will get started with today. Yeah. Today's a dentist day, too. We're going to go to the dentist today and have him check out the progress on how I'm healing after the extractions and whatever their next moves are. Herbie, mechanics use gloves a lot now. That only makes sense. Derek did some wrenching. Derek, I bet you're a good mechanic. My sense is you would be a good mechanic. The extent of my mechanicking is watching Gold Rush. Blows my mind the way they can fix heavy machinery in the fields. They have those trucks filled up with all their tools and the generators and impact wrenches, and it just blows my mind how they can work on replacing tracks on bulldozers, loaders, excavators, all the work that they do, and even the wash plants themselves. Oh my goodness. Blows my mind. I watch them. One of my favorite shows. Oh, that's a good one, Exception. Yeah, they're gonna be taking a look at me today and deciding what the next timing is for the next move. But I'm not afraid of the dentist anymore. I was so worried about going to the dentist. More than anything, I was just worried about them judging me, them kicking me out, saying, no, it's been too long. We're not going to help you. They didn't do that. They were so kind and so non judgmental, but I bet they deal with a lot of that. Like the last thing they want to do is criticize you and kick you out of their office. And so now I'm committed. I'm going to do whatever they say whenever they say. That's just new rule for me. And if I have whatever they tell me to do, that's what I'm going to do. I don't know of anybody that's ever been kicked out of a dentist office, but for some reason I thought I was going to be. I thought I would be the first. Did they give me a sweet sticker? No, they gave me a lollipop. No, they didn't. How about gum? How come they didn't give me any gum? No, what they did was they put a stitch in my gum with disposable suture. So the suture just melted after a couple of days. 100%, Derek. It's the fear. Fear. 100%. And then when you do it, it's not nearly as bad as you think. It just isn't. Xylitol gum. I'm not familiar with xylitol. Xylitol gum. Unfamiliar. I have a story, a dentist story I can tell you guys. Let me turn the camera around. I'll tell you guys a dentist story. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Dentist story. We didn't have a lot of money growing up. There were 6 kids. Both my parents worked. This is the 60s and early 70s when usually the moms stayed home. Xylitol, good for your teeth. I have to ask my dentist about that, nerdy. Xylitol. I like the way it's spelled. So, we didn't have a lot of money at all. We were lower middle class. Let's put it that way. We always had enough for food. My mom made some of our clothes. I wore my brother's hand-me-downs. My sisters all wore each other's hand-me-downs. The poor babies in the family, they never got their own clothes. They were wearing, my baby sister was always wearing the older sister's clothes. But this isn't a woe is me story. We had a lovely childhood. Never starving. There is one particular story, but let me tell this story about the dentist. Maybe I had PTSD from this. I don't know. Post-traumatic stress dentist. I had teeth that my incisors, like, they didn't stick out this way, but they were very prominent. I called them fangs. Out of the 6 kids, 4 kids' teeth were in really good shape. Myself and my baby sister, we both had pretty unattractive smiles. So I learned as a child not to smile with an open mouth. I could only smile with my mouth closed. And it was my mom's mission. She could see that it was affecting self-images. She knew. And she made it her mission. I don't know how she did it. $5 here and $6 there. And you know what I'm talking about, nerdy? Just really self-conscious. The type that laughed like this. That was me. So, anyways, my mom started saving money, cookie jar money. And eventually, now I'm 18 years old, which is pretty old. I mean, I'm literally an adult, right? And I'm 18, and my mom finally has enough money to get myself and my sister to a dentist and get us braces. Usually you're getting braces and my sister was about 12 and I'm 18, but I'm getting my braces. So I have braces, and then for the next 2 years, I was playing rugby. I played rugby for the Los Angeles the Los Angeles Rugby Club. And I remember this very well. One time I got tackled and smashed in the face, and my gums got stuck in my braces. And so I wasn't wearing a mouth guard. And so I pulled my gums off my braces, and there was material still stuck in the braces, and my mouth is bleeding. And the coach is wants to pull me out of the game because I'm looking like I'm like a vampire, blood. And I was like, no, coach. And I looked ferocious for the rest of that game, right? From after that, I started wearing a mouth guard. But anyways, I'm 20 years old, and I want to join the Marine Corps. So I take the ASVAB, the Armed Service Vocational Aptitude Battery Test, and that basically says what your military occupational specialty is going to be, what you're qualified to be when you go into the service. And I did really well because I'm quite a tester, pretty good on tests. I won't dry brag on that right now. But I did all of this without my parents knowing that I'm at the recruiters to go into the Marine Corps. And the recruiter came to visit my mom and dad. I doubt my dad was even there or cared. But the recruiter comes, congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Kerbrat, your son is, going to be a Marine. And this guy was a pretty squared away guy, typical Marine Corps recruiter. Looked like a poster for the Marines. And my mom's only concern, am I boring you guys? Seriously, is this boring you? Just a boring, who wants to hear? Not bored. If Nerdy's not bored, I can move on. Okay. So the recruiter's at the house, meeting my parents, getting everything signed up, and I'm ready to go. Or gives me an entrance gate. And my mom's only concern, asking the sergeant, the only thing that I care about is that, oh, I remember what, back up a step. The recruiter's telling me you can't go into boot camp with braces on. No braces. So you're going to have your braces removed. And I'm like, my mom's not going to go for that. She's saved for the last 7 or 8 years to get these things put on me. She's not going for it. Well, I'll come to your house and I'll talk to her about it, he tells me. So that was the reason that he came to the house. Well, we promise you. She's like, the only reason, excuse me, the only thing I care about is that he, if you're going to remove his braces to go into boot camp, I want the braces put back on when he makes it to his first duty station. So the Marine recruiting sergeant says, that's not a problem, ma'am. We do that. He just has to show up to the base dentist as soon as he gets there, and they'll put his braces back on, and we'll continue his process. Well, let me ask you guys a quick question before I go on. Has anybody ever seen a Marine wearing braces? An active duty Marine wearing braces? Has anybody ever seen that? Herbie, recruiters will say anything. Has anybody ever seen it? I don't think so. I show up after boot camp. I show up and my mom's like, make sure you go to the dentist when you get there. First day you get there, you go to the dentist and you get your braces put back on. It's a big thing to her. So I get there. I go to the base dentist. I'm here, sir, to get my braces put back on. And everybody in the dentist office starts laughing. That's a good one. The recruiter got another one, you guys. He says, kid, we don't put braces back on. You're in the Marine Corps now. Forget about it. Had to call my mom and tell her, I think the recruiter wasn't telling us the truth, Mom. So I only had 2 years of braces. It helped. We definitely worked on getting some of the teeth straightened out. But I had a short stint of braces. And I think it's that has scarred me from dentist work. Now that I look back on it, that was the trauma that made me like, I'm not doing dentists. Anyways, long story. It took too long to tell. I'm sorry. But even Marine Corps recruiters who you think should really shoot straight, they have quotas, man. They have quotas. They've got to get a certain amount of kids signed up every month in order to keep their job as a recruiter and not have to go back out there and be an infantryman grunt. So, yeah, my mom was so pissed. So pissed. Me, I was kind of like, oh, well, so what? You know, hey, at least I don't have to wear braces anymore. Yeah. And then I played rugby for the Marine Corps for 2 years without braces. So I never really had another vampire game after that. Took too long to tell the story. I'm sorry about that. But that is probably the root, get it? The pun. The root of my teeth issues. Let's tell a couple of rando factos about language. Do you want to do some rando factos about language? Let's do it. Herbie, it was the triggering event. I think so. Well, that along with, I really did have a self-image issue about smiling and stuff like that. Let's do a couple of rando factos. What letter was the last letter added to the alphabet? Flossie. It took too long. It took too long to tell the story. Bottom line is recruiters will tell your parents anything. What was the last letter added to the alphabet? What do you think? This is interesting. Clue, it isn't Z. It isn't Z, Green Killer. Not X, not Q, not G. Not Y, not X. No. The last letter added to the alphabet. Malkuth got it. Good job, Malkuth. Good morning, too, by the way. J. The last letter, J. In the late 17th century, J became the last letter added to the English alphabet. Which brings us this interesting fact. Shakespeare never used the letter J. You won't find the letter J in Shakespeare's writing. Isn't that interesting? But what about Romeo and Juliet? Didn't he write a story about Romeo and Juliet? A play? Care Bears all over it. Shakespeare never used the letter J. The letter only became common in the latter part of the 17th century. Since Shakespeare died in 1616, the bard never used the letter J in his works. The character Juliet was pronounced the same, but in the original manuscript it was written as Romeo and Juliet. Instead of the J, he used an I. Juliet, but pronounced it Juliet. Now take that one to work with you. Romeo and Juliet. Juliet. That's pretty crazy. Shakespeare never used the letter J. Here's a weak fact. Let me tell you a weak fact. The longest one vowel word in the English language is strengths. Strengths. One vowel word. How interesting is that? The term outlaw describes a criminal who is outside the protection of the law. He has no right to a trial and can therefore be killed or taken into custody at any time. That was the original word for outlaw. The French word avocat has a double meaning. It means both avocado and lawyer. Kind of like advocate, huh? Avocat. It's a lawyer and an avocado in French. How's that? Okay, how about this one? If you need some toilet paper back in the 1700s, you didn't ask for toilet paper. You asked for tail napkins. Tail napkins. That's what we called them. It was also called bum fodder. It was also called arse wisp. Tail napkins, bum fodder, and arse wisp were common names for toilet paper. in the 1700s. Huh. How about this one? I'll ask the question. No goo goo, no goo goo. Don't look this one up. Don't look this one up. Just try to guess. What word in the English language has the most synonyms? Which word? Which word has the most synonyms in the English language? What do you think? Vegas, you can spell it, can't you? That's not it. You really spelled that pretty good, I bet. I thought it looks like you nailed it. What word in the English language has the most synonyms? There are 546 known variations of this word. What do you think it is? No goo goo, no goo goo. Drunk. Drunk. The most synonyms in the English language with 546 variations. That's pretty crazy, Laura. This sentence, what letter appears 14 times in the sentence I'm about to read you? What letter? The letter E is the most commonly used letter in the English alphabet. What letter appeared 14 times in that sentence? Nerdy's nailing it. You nailed it. 14 times the letter E is in that sentence. The letter E is the most commonly used letter in the English alphabet. It's so common that it's used 14 times in that one sentence alone. Cliche. That's so cliche. Cliche. The term used to describe something repeated over and over is an onomatopoeia. An onomatopoeia is a word that sounds like a sound. Okay? The cliche is the term used to describe something repeated over and over. It's an onomatopoeia that describes the sound of dropping typeset blocks into a printing press. Cliche. When you put a typeset block into a printing press, that's cliche sound. And that's where the term cliche came from. Stop being so interesting, Pops. The little piece of plastic or metal at the end of our shoelaces, the part that we thread through the eyelet, what's it called? What is the term? for that little piece of plastic or metal at the end of our shoelace. HB, you're a brilliant guy this morning. That's exactly it. Look at what HB wrote. It's called an aglet. Aglet. Good one. Good one, HB. In English dictionaries from the 1750s, lunch, Lunch, lunch was defined as much food as one's hand can hold. Lunch. Lunch meant how much food you can hold in one hand. That was lunch. That's pretty neat. That's pretty neat. Lunch. Basically a sandwich. The word sheriff originates from the Old English term shire reeve, Reeve. Shire, like a hobbit, shire. Reeve. Shire was a term for a rural county, and reeve was a job that at first was all about collecting taxes, but it evolved into including law enforcement. So a sheriff was a shire reeve. He was the tax collector in the county. Okay, this is going to freak you out. The longest word in the English language. The longest word in the English language is 189,891 letters long. 189,891 letters long. Don't worry, we won't fill the book with it. It's the longest known protein in the body. The chemical name for titin. It begins with methanyl toluraminogalin glutamin largilin tyrostola glutamasalicyri, and it ends with, well, click the link to find out. The word takes up 42 pages. And you have to know it to get out of med school. No. What? 189,891 letters long. That is craziness right there. One more rando. It's not a book, Jesus Christ. It's a whole, just one word. 42 pages long in this book. We quote Shakespeare daily. Shakespeare is credited with, this is crazy, Shakespeare is credited with adding over 1,700 words and expressions to the English language. And you use them daily. 1,700 words and expressions added to the English language. He just made them up. Made them up, and we figure out what they mean in context. Here's an example of some of the words that he made up: swagger, lonely, eyeball, cold-blooded, bedroom, manager, addiction, critic, generous, brave new world, and many others. That's crazy. He just made them up. And we figure out what they mean in context to how he's using them in his conversations in the plays. Amazing. I'll finish with this one for today. How many of us know that one of the witch's ingredients, you can't have a potion, you can't have a bubbling cauldron if you don't include eye of newt? Give me 5 people that know that. Every bubbling cauldron, every potion has some kind of eye of newt. Am I right? Give me 5 people. Of course, the witches are going to include eye of newt. Okay? Everyone knows that. Super exotic sounding ingredient. It was made famous by Shakespeare's witches in Macbeth. What is an eye of newt, Pops? Mustard seeds. I'm thinking it's like a bat eye or something. A fly eye. It's just a mustard seed. That's new to me. I didn't know that. Eye of newt. It's just a mustard seed. The things that make you go, wow. Isn't that crazy? Next time you're listening to something next time you hear about a witch that needs eye of newt, just grab a mustard seed for them. Today is Facilitator Day. We read about what our facilitators have to answer certain questions. Okay, let's read that article. The question asked this network of psilocybin facilitators. Green Killer thought it was a tadpole eye. Yeah, a newt. Yeah, something like that. Question asked to the facilitators. Can I do psilocybin therapy while taking antidepressants? Or do I need to come off my meds first? If you're on antidepressants, there's a good chance your psilocybin experience won't hit as hard. Aaron Witter explains, SSRIs and SNRIs can significantly blunt psilocybin's effects due to the downregulation of our receptor 5-HT2A. Many people on these medications report a muted or absent experience. But there are workarounds. Clayton Ix lays it out. You can stay on your antidepressants, but they have a chance of reducing the efficacy of psilocybin. If discontinuing your medication is not possible, we can use a higher dose of psilocybin to counteract any potential blunting. Blunting effects vary from person to person. So Shar McKendrick adds a mid-session option. Facilitators may plan for this in dosing, sometimes with the option of a booster dose if appropriate. But adjusting the psilocybin is the easy part. Adjusting your antidepressants is where it gets complicated. The reason most people want to come off their medication is they think a stronger experience means a better one. Kate Schrader says otherwise. Preparation, screening, and support matter far more than chasing a particular intensity of experience. A subtle, acute experience can still be transformative. In fact, a calmer nervous system going in may be advantageous. Benjamin Hawes adds something most people don't expect. Some studies suggest that certain antidepressants may positively affect therapy due to the reduced anxiety during the journey. Michelle Harrell has seen it in practice. Many clients complete psilocybin sessions while still on antidepressants and experience meaningful results. At the end of the day, safety is the priority. Michelle Ertl is unambiguous. SSRIs should never be stopped suddenly. If you have difficulties tapering, it is better to resume your medication than risk being in an unstable place headed into a psilocybin journey. None of this gets figured out in a vacuum. It's not supposed to. Sage Dutra is clear. Nobody should make changes to their medication without professional guidance. That conversation can include both your facilitator and your prescriber. Kate describes what gets discussed. Together, we consider factors like your current stability, your intentions for the work, and whether your system is resourced enough to tolerate a shift. It's a plan built around your history, current status, and intentions. There is no right answer here. Michelle E. sees it played out differently with every client. Some clients who already want to get off SSRIs use this as an opportunity to taper off their medication. For others, tapering isn't the best approach. With such a personal decision, it helps to have qualified advisors in your corner. Be warned, some self-styled psychedelic gurus will have opinions about your prescription. Strong ones, spiritual ones. You heard it first here. If anyone demands you come off your medication before working with them, that's a major red flag. That's a facilitator you don't want to work with, because he's not looking at the totality of your situation. He's going into it with, he or she is going into it with a rigid approach and hasn't even consulted with your prescriber. If anyone demands you come off your medication before working with them, that's a major red flag. Caveat. We're talking about psilocybin and antidepressants specifically. There are drug interactions between other pharmaceuticals and psychedelics that pose real risks. What often gets overlooked is that tapering off antidepressants too quickly is dangerous itself. It can destabilize the nervous system that was functioning fine before anyone rocked the boat. Besides, stopping your meds a week before your journey doesn't even have the desired effect. Usually the blunting lasts longer than that. So do you. Just don't take advice from someone who puts drugs on a moral hierarchy. My takeaway as a facilitator is that I don't make that decision, A, for the client, and B, in a vacuum, or C, there's one answer and one answer fits all. I don't believe that. Need to know a lot more about what is even the reasons for your taking your SSRIs or SNRIs in the first place. And then how much are you talking to your doctor, your prescriber, about your intentions relative to psychedelics? I would want you to have those conversations. I would love to be included in the conversation if your prescriber is open-minded. And come up with a plan that works best for each individual. There is no one size fits all in this biz. And the truth is, some people have reached out, I'm not really feeling the effect. Well, are you on SSRIs? And you find out, yeah, I am. Oh, well, there's a blunting issue right there. And you should know all of that before as you're planning the intentions of the journey. You, when I say you, I'm talking about a facilitator. Give me 5 people that kind of understand what we're talking about here. It's important because a lot of people come to this with, we're not here. We're here because we're looking for help in many ways with our mental health. And we're finding out psychedelics are an extremely, extremely valuable way to receive help, a therapeutic modality. And in many cases, probably better than the SSRIs that the people have been on. In many, many cases. But this is something that's an individual. Each situation is individual. So that was neat. Tomorrow we're going to be reading an article, a question and answer article. But that's our facilitator talk for today. Okay? We try to do that every Monday. Read what the facilitators, a question asked to a network of facilitators, and see what the consensus is among the facilitators. Thank you, HB. I'm going to run over and I'm going to jump in my daily reading. And I actually read it the night before. So I read this one last night and put thoughts together for our morning session. And this, of course, comes from one of my favorite guys, of all time. And I'm just blown away that I've just been introduced to this guy in the last year of my life. I mean, I'd heard of him, but I wasn't listening with an open mind. Lao Tzu. I love me some Lao Tzu. To be in accord with the Tao, the path, the way, nature, the universe. Yes, HP, I have. To be in accord with the Tao is to be relaxed and at ease. Peace does not come from adding more to life. Did you know that? Peace doesn't come from adding more. Our Western civilization, specifically, especially American, United States American, you guys have heard that saying before. It's a bumper sticker. The guy who dies with the most toys wins. Have you ever heard that one? Give me 5 people that have read that bumper sticker. Man, I might as well. I didn't have it on my car, but I believed it. I did. I spent decades of my life believing that the person with the most toys wins. And so I accumulated them. Had garages full of them. Had them floating in the harbor. And do you think for 1 minute, looking back, that I was at peace? I wasn't. I never was. I was still looking for something to fill the void, to fill the hole in me. True. Started out with drugs. Found out drugs didn't work. Drugs were ruining my life. So I bailed on the drugs. Went to rehab. 30 years old. I'm 68 now. My drug of choice was cocaine. I continued to drink a little bit, but I've never been a huge drinker. Drink more just as in a group and to have a good time. Smoked weed almost every day of my life until this coming June will be a year. I've only smoked it once after that, and it was because I wanted to try Derek Anderson's stuff. I wanted to try it. And I got ripped, Derek. I got ripped. It's been a long time since I'd been that high. But I was filling voids with that. And then that was up until 30. Then I tried filling it with organized religion. I guess organized religion will fill it for me. Have a great day, Bubblegum. So I dove deep into organized religion. And then I thought I would fill the void by going fast. Let me become a race car driver. And then I thought I'd fill the void by flying. I'd already been flying in my 20s, but I had stopped flying for years and years. And I got my license back and I started renting planes and flying everywhere. And that was so much ego, it wasn't even funny. Looking back and really looking at my motivations, it was all about ego. I wasn't filling my void, I was growing my ego. I wanted everybody to think I was a big shot. I always had to have a sports car. I had to have a fast and shiny car. I had to have the nicest motorcycle. For a while, it was the Kawasaki's and the crotch rockets. And then I'm like, yeah, I'm a little bit older. I'm getting a Harley. A lowrider Harley with a custom flame paint job on the tank. And on and on and on. You know, when I started fishing, when I moved here, I started fishing with Jeff. And I'm working on my mental health. So I found a guy that made custom fishing poles. And I went to this guy over in Western Michigan. I had to drive all the way to his place. Ordered a custom fishing pole, custom made just for me. This fishing pole, just the pole, we're not even talking about reels, just the pole, was $350. For one fishing pole. Oh yeah, gotta pay it. I want to have a custom fishing pole just for me. In the meantime, I'm buying more fishing poles. At one point, I had somewhere in the neighborhood of 25 fishing poles in my first year of fishing. Can you imagine that? How many poles can I fish with at one time? How many different kinds of fish do I fish for? One, walleye. I'm not as good as Kevin. I can't fish with two fishing poles. One. But more was better. More. More. More of anything I'm interested in. That is not a peaceful way to live, Pops. I have given away every single fishing pole I own, except for two now. I have one spare that sits in the garage, and I have one that drives around with me in my Rolls Canardly. That's it. And I must admit that it's the $350 pole. I've been fishing with that same pole for the last 5, 6 years, however long it's been. And it's the only pole I bring when I go fishing. Boop, show up with my one pole. That's all I need. And it took me till my mid-60s to figure that out. And that's just fishing poles. Can you imagine? To be in accord with the Tao is to be relaxed and at ease. That's not relaxing to be out shopping for fishing poles once a week for another pole. And I'm just using that as an example. My whole life I ran around like that. Derek Anderson, I love that. Casio tells the same time as a Rolex. Boom, boop, boop. Yeah. Peace does not come from adding more to life, but from resting in what is simple and natural. Lao Tzu shows us that alignment with the Tao is not a matter of striving or of effort, but of ease. When we chase endlessly after goals, possessions, or recognition, tension fills our lives. Give me 5 people that agree with that. I'll say it again. Tell me if you agree. when we chase endlessly after goals, possessions, or recognition, tension fills our lives. You wonder why the celebrities aren't that happy. They have all the recognition in the world, and they're miserable. It's once they get away from the studios and out from beyond in front of the cameras and they go to their ranches in Montana that they can finally relax. Same thing happens with rich people. I mean, how much money can you have? And they continue to chase more. I can't say anything about their souls because that puts me in a place of judgment. I'm just looking at the fruit of their lives. That's all. And it doesn't look like a life that's relaxed. It doesn't look like a life that's simple and natural. I've changed my life. I have. I sit in front of you guys every day and I tell you, I've changed my life. I'm getting simpler and simpler. I'm more in tune with nature. I wouldn't have been involved in the community garden to save my life a few years ago. I'd be too busy chasing the next fishing pole. When we pause and allow ourselves to be, relaxation follows. Simplicity is not emptiness, it's clarity. Oh, that's a good one. Simplicity isn't emptiness, it's clarity. My mind has become more clear. I mean that. I tell you this with pure honesty. It still gets foggy. It still has some matote in there. I'm not a finished product. I'm in progress. But my mind is clearer today than it's ever been in all of my life on earth. Simplicity is not emptiness, but clarity. I remind myself that. And there is such joy in some of the simplest things. That's why for a few weeks, they're all I could talk about. And I still do it, is making bread. When I first got here, I had to find the best bakery in town. And I'd go and I'd stare and I'd buy all the baked goods behind the glass at the bakery. Right now, I'm making them. I'm making them. Let me share something with you. Let me share this with you. Who likes a Pop-Tart? Anybody like Pop-Tarts? I've never been the biggest Pop-Tart fan. But can you imagine? I don't have to buy a Pop-Tart anymore. I can make my own. And they're better for me than the ones that you're buying from the box. Check this out. Check this out. Wait. Pop-Tarts are keeping your back big. Look, you're... Wait a minute. Look, you're studying the nutrition facts, but you know those store-bought Pop-Tarts are keeping your back big. Did you know if you simmer strawberries with chia seeds and maple syrup into a thick jam, mix almond flour with Greek yogurt and egg into a soft dough, roll it flat, fill it,
Seal it and bake it at 350 for 18 minutes. Then top it with Greek yogurt frosting and rainbow sprinkles. You get a Pop-Tart with 12 grams of protein and 0 refined sugar. Vitamin E shields your immune cells. Protein keeps hunger switched off. No refined sugar, no cortisol spike. Comment tart and I'll send you the full recipe. I post healthy recipe swaps and
Simple. I don't even need the sprinkles anymore. I don't even want the sprinkles anymore. I'm going to make Pop-Tarts this week. Simple. And the sense of satisfaction. And so much better for me. I'm going to make a Pop-Tart this. That looks so good. What do you guys think? Give me 5 people. You may not do it, but wouldn't mind making your own Pop-Tart. Who wouldn't mind making their own Pop-Tart? Sure looked easy. Sure looked simple. Sure looked better for me. Give me 5 people. I may not make one pop, but that sure looked like I should. Not should. Forget the word should. It would have been better for me. Simplicity is not emptiness, but clarity. It is the state where we do not struggle to prove, to achieve, or control. Imagine a tree growing by the river. It does not rush, yet it becomes strong and full. In the same way, when we live in harmony with the Tao, our actions flow with less resistance. Ease becomes not laziness, but a deeper form of wisdom. Ease becomes a deeper form of wisdom. I'm not fighting it. It shows us our true strengths, and it often arises from stillness. I hope you guys like the message. I hope that rings a bell with you. I hope it pops a tart with you. Today, give yourself permission to slow down. Choose one activity and do it without rushing. Whether it's walking, eating, or listening. Feel the difference when you allow ease into your body and mind. Notice how life becomes more enjoyable when you're not pressing forward. Let simplicity guide your rhythm. Simplicity isn't emptiness, it's clarity. I would argue it's a lot more mentally healthy. Am I right? Thank you guys. Thanks for being here today. I love you guys. I'm sincere. I'm getting simpler. Even the things I'm reading to you guys is getting simpler. Right? We're getting down to like just a couple of sentences. Yeah. Everything. As I diminish, I grow. I close with the 4 agreements. Be impeccable. Don't be a Marine Corps recruiter lying to a mom about the kids' braces. Be impeccable. Your words have power. Use the simple ones, not the ones with 189,000 letters in them, 42 pages long. Nobody has time for that. Be at ease and be wise. Grow your wisdom. You're not growing wisdom when you're chasing 25 fishing poles. Okay? It's just not happening like that. That's not wise. That wasn't very wise of you, Pops. Matter of fact, it was weird. It was weird. I tell you. One pole, that's all I need. It's in my car. No matter where I am, I can pull one pole out and I'm ready to go. Little bag of lures and I'm good. Find a grasshopper along the side of the river. Boom. I'm in the game. Be impeccable with your words and your actions. And be simple. Don't take things personal. It's simple. It's not about you. It's simple. What people think of me is none of my business. It's simple. I had our fella, the guy that we know who he is, don't need to name him. For some reason, he has this perverse need to send me disgusting racist rants and videos. Disgusting. Vile. He still has a need to do that every once in a while. And it's always 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. I'll wake up and I'll see, oh, I got a message, and I look, and it's from Guy, and it's 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning his time, and he sends me another vile, disgusting video. The first 10 that he sent me, I had to tell him, that's not good for you, that you're feeding that stuff to your brain, and try to talk with him rationally and explain it. And, maybe there's a different way to look at people, and let's be filled with love and let's be filled with gratitude. You know what I do now? I keep it simple. I don't reply. No oxygen. I do not reply. Now, I imagine at the other end, because why else would he be continuing to send them to me? I get about one a week. Because he's trying to get me riled up. He's trying to get a reaction out of me. It's darn well that I'm not the audience for that crap. It's darn well. I've made that very clear. But I still get them. And I've reached my own personal training that I don't even need to reply. The things that he's sending are none of my business. Replying fuels that stuff. I don't have to say a word. Not saying anything. Speaking with the still voice of God is the strongest thing I can do. Give me 5 people that get that. You don't have to reply. You don't have to tell somebody your opinion. You don't have to try to coach somebody out of it that you've been trying for months and they're just not getting it. Water off a duck. And that's the strongest thing you can say, because at the other end they're gritting their teeth like, no, God darn it, I still didn't give a reply. Yeah, you're living with a lot of peace there, aren't you, pal? The guy at peace is the guy not replying. That's a quick lesson for you guys. For me. That's how I approach it. Saturday morning, look at my video. There is another one of those disgusting, vile things. And Boy, you're ready to tell them I'm praying for you, my friend. Oh, you've got a sick soul, and a bunch of garbage coming out of your mouth. Still, the voice of God is very still. It's silent, and it speaks louder than any words you can ever say. Agreement number 3, don't have any expectations. I don't expect this person to change. I don't expect him to be different. I don't have assumptions about why he's doing what he's doing. It means nothing to me. The more silent I can be and the more centered I can be. And doing your best is sometimes being very silent. Getting it? You guys get where I'm coming from? You get what I'm laying down? Silence. Have a wonderful, fantastic, beautiful, great day today. Make it simple. Make it a simple day. Do something super simple and slow down. Take it from 100 down to the 50s. It's been some of the hardest things I've ever done. And I'm down in the 50s and the 40s now. And I still need to go slower. Love you guys. Thank you for being here. And I'll see you guys tomorrow with more wonderful things to talk about. Let me scroll out my friends today. Thank you again for being here, everybody. Derek Anderson, Sir D, as he's known in many circles. Jesus Christ in Australia. HB, killing the game today. Good morning, HB. Zozo LSD, have a phenomenal day. Mellow Jamaica Man. Nurs, there's my Nursey. And Aaron and Joey D. And who else is here? Green Killer. Good morning, Greenie. Second Greenie. We have a couple of Greenies here. Let's see. Who else is here? Excuse me. Good morning, Nippy. I'm so glad to see my Nippy here. Big bear hugs to Sarah Bear. Who else is here this morning that I want to say goodbye to? I'm scrolling. If anybody wants to say goodbye, we'll say goodbye to each other. Tyler, good morning, Tyler. Good to have a great day. Have a simple day. Cleany, keeping it simple. I know he is. We simply just shoot slingshots. We don't need anything else. Hammond. There's S. Hammond. Good morning, Hammond. And Mike, the handsome butt of all. And Trenty, the Trenty Trenterson. And Cyber Jolie. Very, very sweet message from you, Cyber Jolie. Thank you. Pacers. There's Pacey. Pacers, what do you think about that watch, that swatch that they just released? The Big Shot, I forget the name of it, PK something and Swatch. They both got together and released a pocket watch, right? And as soon as I saw that on the news, I was like, I bet you Pacers would like one of those. Let's see, who else is here this morning? Nippy, working and lurking. That's cute. Exception, have a wonderful day. Hug Christopher from Pops. And who else is here? Laura, have a divine day. And Derek Anderson and Pacers. Oh, I know. You're right. They're going to be on eBay and selling like crazy. Exactly. Pops, peace, love, gratitude, simplicity, ease, wisdom, kindness, and gratitude. Serve one another and serve yourself. Pops, love, out.